I don't know how much value I have in this universe, but I do know that I made a few people happier than they would have been without me. And as long as I know that, I'm as rich as I ever need to be.
Hey kid, what time is that?
It's time to refresh.
Ka-ching.
There we go.
Bit early for that, isn't it?
I know, we're aware. No, it's energy drink, pal. Oh, it's lovely. Back once again with another episode. We've got returning guest. I'm just going to get straight into it because today I had a story for you and I didn't want to hold it back any further. Do you know something? Don't take this the wrong way. Some people said, I don't know who this guy is when it come on, because obviously you're not, within my sort of scene, you never really sort of touched on about stuff or the harder stuff really, have you?
No,
You've been my thing.
No, I haven't been with the hard house. Like, I've been in a bit of trance, but not really hard house. Wasn't really my thing really. It was a bit too fast for me, that.
Well, after you came on last time, some were saying that yours was the best episode yet. Do you want to know why? They said he's wild. You see, he's wild. Some of your stories, obviously, I didn't put any of the pictures on because we couldn't.
I haven't put any of the buttons on.
Yeah, but like you were requested to come back by people who literally don't know you, and I was just like, I'm gonna have to get you back on for a part 2 because like we've just been talking off pod. We haven't even scratched the surface really with some of the stuff, and like I had people messaging saying like, want to know more about this guy because he hasn't like as stupid as it sounds. Like we've never heard of him. But we love him. Like he's
been quietly loitering around in the background over the years.
Yeah. As I say, because obviously a lot of the watchers of the podcast aren't from Cumbria. They maybe not know who you are. Do you know what I mean? Whereas, but as I say, they want to know more about you. So it's good to have you back on, mate.
Nice to see you. It's been a while.
One of the most requested guests. So.
I'm surprised at that. Like.
Yeah. I'll start off with everyone now. What did you have for tea last night?
What did I have last night? What was it last night? I actually went to Sunny Hill.
Sunny Hill?
Oh, yeah.
Class, what did you get?
Scampi and chips.
Scampi and chips.
Yeah,
I love Sunny Hill.
Classic pub.
It's simple, but it's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, I like it there. It's alright.
Steak and ale pie out there, and the chicken and ham, I think it is, or something. It's nice. I'm going to start off new feature. You
in the new studio.
Oh yeah, in the new studio. Yeah, you were in the house as well, weren't you? In the last one. Right. So. We'll get into that, but I've got to ask you this question, new feature, before we start things off. So, this came from a Patreon, and he said, how's about you do this, how does this sound? And I thought, do you know what, this is a pretty good idea. So for every guest who comes on, the guest before gets to ask the question, even though they don't know who it's going to be, or anything like that.
Aye.
So, I forgot to ask Chris, which I apologise. But Al messaged me his question, and he said, would you rather have 1 minute conversation with your past self or your future self, and what would you talk about? And that's from obviously Al Lockie on a previous episode.
Cheers, Al. Put us on the spot there, lad.
Yeah.
Probably talk about the future. Well, I wouldn't like to look back, like. Well, even though it's good memories, like. But,
yeah.
I'd always like to look forward and move on, and probably talk about
lottery numbers or something like that.
Possibly, that'd be involved, like. But I don't know. I like the space stuff, a lot of stuff on space and stuff like that. Like, so
oh yeah. So yeah, there's
that.
A question about I want to get into later as well. That came in, and it could be the best question that's been asked, and that comes from another Patreon as well.
Hope I've got an answer.
You will have. I'm sure you will. But yeah, so new studio, obviously since your last year.
Nice backdrop there. Looks great.
It looks alright. But as I say, we pointed out with Al that there's a pair of bollocks on here. And then his missus then told him to message me and say, oh, there's a willy on the left hand side as well. It's someone's finger. If you just look, it looks like a. So yeah, they'll be getting covered up. They'll be getting covered up. As he arrived today, I was getting some of the posters arriving, and I opened it up and I was like, what is this picture? Obviously, it looked like a classic cowboy style picture, and I thought, oh, it's the clock tower off Back to the Future.
Save the clock tower.
Yeah.
Class film, I like.
Class film. So since you were last on, what have you been up to? How much?
Pretty quiet, mate. To be honest with you, I've just mostly work, not enough play, to be honest. But yeah, not a lot really on the DJ scene at the moment, like. But just keeping myself as usual and doing the odd thing here and there.
Here and there. But yeah, DJing wise, I think I've got to say, I think you're a bit underrated as DJ. Like, and obviously a lot of people don't like taking like compliments or like that, but whenever I've seen you DJ, you've always had a good eye for the crowd, for what's on.
Yeah, well, that's what it's all about, isn't it? At the end of the day, like, you've got to...
But you see some DJs. I remember playing with you, and you were playing in, where were we at?
North, was it?
North, yes,
Yeah.
in North. And you
Probably a while ago now, yeah.
That was 10 years ago, mate.
Yeah.
More than 10 years ago, actually.
I seen the flyer pop up on Memories on
Did it?
Facebook the other day, and
Yeah.
I was like, Jesus Christ, all them years ago, man. They just fly by, don't they?
Yeah. Well, I first met you about 11 years ago.
It was around that time, wasn't it?
You know, it was about I think it was the year before I met you. It was the park reunion at
Yes.
Marshall.
Marshall Club, yeah.
Yeah. I came out, didn't know anybody because I never went to the park, and I just thought I like this style of music, so let's fucking get into it.
You'd have only been quite young in that back then, were you? No.
I don't know about how old.
You still are now.
I know. I must have been what, 17 maybe 16.
Jesus. So you were underage, or?
Yeah. Well, obviously.
Were we all?
Yeah.
Once upon a time.
But I love that era of music. So I thought
it was good, like, yeah.
Yeah.
It was the best, I think.
Them,
I don't know whether it's because you get older,
Yeah.
but I was listening to Owls the other day, and what he was saying about, there's no music that you like to motivate yourself to get into. It's like I get a lot of tunes sent and buy tunes, and it's like the top 100 of this, the top 100 of that, and you just scroll them through, and maybe picking one or two out.
Yeah.
That you sort of like, but now they're really. I don't know whether the era has changed, like, but I don't know. It's just hard, like he says, to get motivated, like.
Well,
But you do now again. You have little blasts where, you get refreshed off something and think,
I think every so often I know DJs who within our sort of area who they dip in and out of the DJing side. Like
I'm a bit like that now.
so, it's like they'll come in and it's like something fresh has come along. I remember when the whole tech boom happened in like 2012, and it was like when it started coming in, and it wasn't the tech house I remember from years and years ago, because original tech house wasn't like what it is now.
Well, I find that quite repetitive as well.
Yeah.
It's very one level stuff. It doesn't like kind of go up and down like it used to back in the 80s. You could take it up and down.
Yeah.
Have an end.
It's a bit of a story, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's how it used to be done, like how you build it. But nowadays, it just seems to be short sets and just a quick blast of you're waiting for it to happen.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen.
So if you were to sort of dip your toe into it right now, and I don't know, someone said, "Oh, there's a set there for you," what would you play if there were free?
I'd probably go off I'd come back to disco, believe it or not. But the disco funky house, all the funk stuff's all coming back, and I quite like that. I like the BPMs about 120, 115, 120. Just funky stuff now at the moment. But then I'll change again. I can go back to trance. See if I'm like having a little spin at home. I'm all over the spot with it. Just drift with it and go.
Yeah, I think when you pigeonhole yourself, I think that the sad reality for me is I've pigeonholed myself as a bounce DJ. People around here, like I've played house. You've seen me play house music. You've seen me play a bit more pumping stuff, but
produce mostly yard house, haven't you?
Yeah, that's my thing. I've sort of pigeonholed myself, haven't I? But
you can always change that. And I'm sure now people are getting to know the crack.
Yeah, of course. But I think that that's the problem with everyone nowadays. Not just DJs or promoters, but even like the casual people who pop into the clubs and bars and stuff. And
it's more boppy and that in the bars now, isn't it? Dance where you're at kind of thing, rather than having a big dance floor.
Well,
full on big rooms. It's all that big room stuff. So
do you not think
though? Bar culture, on it, and VIP stuff. Really.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. Do you not think though when if someone comes up to you who you know and they're like, oh, I know, Phil is a DJ and whatnot, right? They're like, oh, you're the guy who plays, and it's like, I don't know, but you're the guy who plays trance, and it's like, I do more than that. Do you know what I mean? Like, to me, I like music. I don't like hard house or bounce. I like all kinds. I like
depending what kind of mood you're in, doesn't it? There's music. There's like music for every time of the day or however you're feeling. I listen to all kinds of different stuff. Like
I was in the gym last night and I had punk music on.
I wasn't in the gym listening to it. Like
I'm trying to lose a bit of the kite.
I think I was in the car.
right? No, but yeah, I listen to a bit of punk music. I like that. But, like I've been discovering these bands that I didn't know existed, and it's like it feels like new music.
Aye. Well,
So
there's
that's
that many as well, isn't there? It just keeps getting thrown at you. There's loads of stuff comes out.
Well,
Loads of
It backs
platforms.
up your argument though. Your thing was saying it's like, is the music not as good as it was now when you're scrolling through the things? I'm discovering music that came out in the 80s with these punk bands and 90s, and it's like it's catching my ear. So it's obviously better than the punk that's out now. Or do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or is that because it's what's pushed onto you? I don't know.
I don't know. It's just there's just that much. You get lost in it. I do. I get lost in it. Just searching. I do more searching than actually playing. I think these days, and I think that just kind of ground you to a halt for a while. But
Yeah,
you know, a certain tune can come on, and then it just refreshes your brain.
sparks it, doesn't it? Have you ever heard a tune like you don't buy vinyl anymore, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, do you?
Well, now and again, I haven't for a while because I go through phases with that as well.
Yeah,
I'll
exactly.
spend a fortune and then they're just there in the bedroom and I'll never use them. So, and then I'll go out and hear a tune and then I'll get that on band. Usually the ones that you can't get.
Yeah,
digitally,
that's all I do nowadays.
So
It's
you
pointless
convert-
buying the thing and just get it.
Or
in.
the CD singles, so you can rip it.
Yeah, I do that a lot.
And they're a lot cheaper CD singles than the vinyls usually.
Yeah, but the thing is, right? I found is that for me, I'll hear a tune, I'll be like, oh, that's got a. It's usually probably like an old piano tune or early like acid house and stuff like that. Because I still listen to a lot of that, and I'll hear it and I'm like, ooh, that's got. Do you know, that style sort of gripped me, and then I'll go and buy the vinyl on Discogs, right? I'll be like, got the vinyl or whatever because you can't get it anywhere, and then but I find myself, do you know, when you look and you look at what they've got for sale, and you like down a little rabbit hole of like discovering
and
a
then
million new artists.
their friends who's on their list, and then you go through theirs.
Yeah.
It's just endless, isn't it?
I've spent full evenings when I'm
aye.
I'm meant to be editing the podcast, and I've just been going.
I
and
know,
you
you just branch off to different people, and you're like, oh. And then you remember a song that you forgot existed, and you see, and you think, oh, I've got to have that.
And it opens up like new doors again. It's like, oh, fuck's sake!
It's like shit. What's in the cart? About 400 quid.
What I do is I'm not that I'm tight. It's just that I'm getting to the point now where I've just got loads of vinyl. I've got nothing to do. Like, of course, what I do is I just rip it to my computer.
Yeah, I did the same.
So what I do is I'll find this tune that I can't find. I'll have to buy the vinyl. But then when I'm looking for their collections, most of the stuff's available online. So I just fucking hell.
The MP3.
Forgot about that. I noticed that Armada Music started uploading loads of the old stuff. So
they've been hard to find over the years, like the old school rave stuff.
well, it's
The
not even
12-inch
that.
mixes.
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously, yeah. What they're doing, they're buying these smaller labels up from back in the day, so they can
putting them
monetize them on
Yeah,
Spotify
because
and stuff.
all that Italian stuff's still quite rare to get hold of, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
good quality rips of it.
Well, now you see them though, aren't you? The Italian's starting to come on the over the last 3-4 years. It's started to come onto the download stores. Do you know what I mean?
Which ones are them? Is that a secret, closely guarded secret?
No. Get yourself on Juno, right?
Aye.
Any tunes that you like from back in the day, and I bet you there's an upload, and it'll even say the original date it came out and everything.
That's probably ripped off vinyl as well, though, you'd imagine that. But
Well,
you can get good rips now, like, can't you, as well, though?
yeah, what was it I downloaded? Cheesy one, but I apologise.
I don't know what a bit of
Heartbreaker.
cheese. Childresky.
Childresky, Heartbreaker. I downloaded it, right, and I'll put my headphones and that on. It was off Juno, and I thought, wow, this is a good copy. It's like, it doesn't sound like a vinyl rip. It sounds quite clean. Obviously, it's got the 90s production to it, but it doesn't sound like there's any vinyl there. So it could have been pulled from like a DAT or something like that. I don't know.
CD single.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it was the CD.
That was a bag of tune, that, like, in the day. Was
Hey,
popular
careful what you
one.
say. People judge you
Popular
for
one
that.
in the park, that one was.
Yeah, that's where I first heard the thing on the recording, park recordings.
I think that was one of Righty's big into that.
It's a class tune. Class tune. I don't know why he gets so much flack as well, because it's like he's such a good tune.
It stood the test of time, hasn't it?
It's cheesy, man.
It is.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with
So go on then. If you go add a DJ set now, what would you
I've
play?
been doing more leaning towards the disco side, I think, funky stuff. There's a lot of this disco stuff's come back now, like remixed, doesn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of that about.
We'll talk about Goodall, wasn't it?
I love it. Aye, it's just nice to listen to and easy going, and uplifting stuff.
Yeah, I found there's people out there who've become bridges from house music to disco. So like, when I discovered by accident that purple disco machine. Do you know?
I like his stuff like.
Right, and I discovered it. I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is good. This this is different gravy. And then like
Shakedown at Night, that's a good mix of it. Like,
yeah.
I love that.
It's a official one, that one as well. It's not like bootlegger.
No, yeah, it's a good one.
And then I found myself obviously there, and then you go down the rabbit hole again, and next minute I'm listening to loads of disco. I'm like, this guy's been the bridge for me to get into from the sort of housey side of things to the disco.
Aye.
I heard, what was it I heard? Oh, he done Praise You, didn't he, by
Fatboy
Slim. He did a remix of that, and I heard it, and I was like, oh. And then he did, right, this, I'm probably going to get flack for this one as well. This is worse than Heartbreaker, this one. He did, I apologise, I'm just on the phone.
Mill Stripper. He's done
The Mill Stripper? Yeah.
I know.
It's good, isn't it?
It's catchy, that. It really is. It's a really good tune. But that was a massive tune in the 80s. Like, is it the 80s? It would have been the 80s, eh?
Early 80s.
Yeah, but it's I like that remix. Like,
it's classic.
It's proper cheesy again, but it's stomping in it. You know what I mean?
The thing is, I heard it and I was like, I should have liked this, but it's fucking brilliant.
It is, aye. Yeah, I like that tune.
I'm surprised that there's no house DJs out there that's remixed that. You know, like, do you know when you hear it now and they've got recycling
straight away, catchy in it.
Yeah. And the kick drum and everything in it, and the snare, it's good.
All these mixes are pretty, that's what I say, stomping, like, they get you straight away, like.
Yeah, so you play sort of disco in that, eh? So, what in the last 2 years has been a big tune that's caught your eye? No one what you just said previously.
Yeah, I'd say probably that Shakedown at Night has been a big one. A lot of other stuff I've been leaning to is like more chilled out stuff as well, like there's one called Blue Days by Armour Code.
Right.
It's more like a sun tune, like I don't know if you heard it or not.
Nah, I'll have to have a look at it though.
It's been a big Sasha tune. He's gone down that road of like the end of a night's tune for him, but more relaxed affair as well. If you listen at home, obviously not playing out, but what else has there been? Probably a lot by Purple Disco Machine, to be honest with you.
That's been my bridge.
That kind of vibe with the house, I love it. As long as it's stumpy and get you moving, like that's the kind of vibe I like now.
See, I like the uplifting disco and stuff. Like
it's hard to think actually without looking through your there's just that many, isn't there?
Yeah. But like, cause he's got a bit of a oomph to it. Like as I say, the kick drums and the snares are a bit heavier. It's like it's really fucking captured my attention, and I was just like, I found myself just going. It feels good to be able to do this, because obviously with our house and bounce there is not a big market for this. But going onto Spotify and just going onto, do you know, this is, and then the artist. So like this is ABBA or this is fucking Elvis Presley. So this is Purple Disco Machine, and just go through the full discography, and it's like
just one artist can take it all night.
It's enjoyable.
But then you don't want to miss out either, do you? So you clicking away, and then the day's gone.
Here's a DJ tip for anyone that I've discovered recently. As I say, probably not that good with bounce or hard house, but if you're into any other music, a lot of house music as well, if you go onto Spotify and if you want to discover new music before everyone else, go to subscribe to the notifications for the new release Friday thing, where it gives you literally what's coming up before it's out, and it gives you get previews in that first. So if you want to be like the first one to get on. Nowadays it's not really a thing. Years ago you'd have to buy the vinyl. Everyone's like, oh, he's playing this tune before everyone else. Anyone can play it, but if you want,
that was a good thing back then, wasn't it? It's like
that's it.
When they were rare, there wasn't that many copies about it.
Well, I was talking.
You would probably get nicked out of your box.
Was that ever happened to you?
I've lost loads over the years. I don't know where.
That's probably your drunken antics, mate. That's not.
Probably,
that's no
I mean, God knows. It's only when you hear it you think, hang on, I had that.
Yeah.
It's gone. I don't know where the hell it's gone, but it's gone.
Someone's got a vinyl out of it anyhow.
Yeah, probably.
But like, I was saying this to somebody on the podcast. I can't remember. I apologise. But that nowadays, do you know what the exclusive is? Do you know when you've like, oh, that's a Phil Goodall tune. That is. Do you know what it is? You've got to be able to produce your music and not release it. It's like because you know them, or you edit a tune. And it's like, oh, that's a I don't know. That's a Brad Riffresh tune.
I'll put it under another alias. A lot of that going on as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
Different names kind of out for different genres, isn't it? So it doesn't attach them to it as well, really.
I think it's not more so nowadays. Not. I think it's back in the day when you had like the classic one that I've talked about before is the Ferry Causden one, where
No, he's got a few, hasn't
he was signed to exclusive to a label, and he couldn't release under Ferry Causden, so that's where System F came from. That's where like Moonman come from. Like he couldn't license stuff on other labels because he was signed to one. Whereas nowadays you hear, for instance, some of the bigger artists out there, like Calvin Harris, and he's producing a house tune 1 minute, then he's doing like a funky disco tune, and then he's doing like that Miracle is borderline bounce music.
Aye.
It's like, and he's not like changing the aliases or out like that.
No, I know he doesn't like much.
But it shows that you follow the DJ because of the artist they are, not because of the style of music they play. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's probably just how some think, though, isn't it? That's why they maybe change, because they don't want to attach some.
That's good.
They're
No,
not
but it's a
they're not
positive
popular
thing.
That whatever they put out's gonna
Yeah.
be a hit, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Unfortunately, I don't have that that
You
kind of
this
pull.
time next year.
You never know. I know, but if honestly, this is the truth. I put out an absolute banging hardcore tune, and it done absolutely fuck all because guess what?
You've got it on Reminisce now. I've seen that
Oh yeah,
your tune. That's this weekend, isn't it? I went to one
Yeah.
of them, you know, a couple of months ago, a couple of years ago.
did you?
Aye.
What year was it you went to?
We know it must have been about 2019, 18 maybe. It was good,
Nice.
like
It is good,
real
isn't
good
it?
bash.
Yeah,
Aye.
yeah, yeah.
Been growing every year, that and all, but I wouldn't
Yeah.
mind it going this year, but it hasn't panned out.
That tune has blew up for me massively, and
What since that? Or
no, that's just been
When
something
did you
else.
make
That's
it?
come on. I did. We made it about. We finished it about 2 months ago.
You know Sandy B. Is
Yeah.
that one? Sandy B riff.
Yeah, the Sandy B riff.
Yeah, never fails, eh?
Never ever fails. And do you know something, how hard it was to recreate that? I'll go into a little bit about this, but it was getting that, because I've heard a lot of people redo it, and it's like they've never nailed the, whether it's, I've heard a couple of versions where a couple of the notes are different, and it's like, well, fair enough, you've done something a bit different. And I've heard it where the note lengths are, they're not holding the note for long enough, or they're holding the note for too long. They're like do 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 do, and it's like no one got it quite right. So we got to version, I think we got to version 36 on that. Like, do you know, you're bouncing versions of it.
Version 36.
Yeah. So we got to
Time
36,
consuming.
and it was literally the only thing that was letting it down. We got to I think we got to version 12, and it was like a finished product. But just that drop with the melody, and then how does this sound? And we've gone back and forth with ideas and stuff. And I'm like, right, it's getting annoyed, but we got there in the end, and it sounds all right. So the label BNCY, which is run by Mikey Davis and Greenie, they snapped it up. They were like, yes, I'll have a bit of that. It actually got rejected from other labels as well, which I was a bit gutted about. I thought, because do you know when you hear a tune, and it's not often this happens, by the way, because I'm not that good. I hear a tune, and when I've finished it, and I'm like, this is gonna do something. This, do you know when you can just feel it? And I thought when I finished this, I was like, this is gonna, people are gonna love this. And then I sent it off, and it got rejected straight away, and then it got rejected again.
Well, not everyone's going to take it, but
Yeah.
there'll be someone who takes it out there that, you know,
Yeah.
really loves it. Not everyone.
I know, I
takes
understand
everything,
that.
but
Yeah. And
just
then
getting it out, really.
so what I wanted it to be, I wanted it to be a summer anthem, because it's a very summer tune, isn't it? Like that's why it's on that advert. So
Did you have to license stuff to use it, or they asked you about that?
yeah, well, go through the label. I messaged Greenie about it, and he said about it. It was
Yeah,
like,
you wouldn't say no, like, would you? That
no, would you? No, absolutely not. And do you know something? I discovered it by accident. So what had happened was, we'll get into it. Like, but fucking, I was scrolling through Facebook, and then it was like 1 day to go, or 2 days to go to Reminisce, and I just scrolled past it, and I heard the tune playing, and I thought, oh, I've left my SoundCloud on. I must have had it on playing on SoundCloud, and I was going off, and I was like, SoundCloud's not even open. Scroll back up, and it's playing there, and I was like, oh my god, because no one told me about it. I was like, oh my god, this is so good. Like, do you know what I mean?
It's all it takes, and it could blow up again now from that.
I would like to think so, but we'll see. And I know a couple of DJs who's playing there this weekend who've told me they're playing it, so
Aye.
so it's looking good. So what happened was they signed it, and I had to offer up another label, and they said we're not going to release it until next March, and I was like, to be honest with you, that's a bit far away. I want this to be a summer tune now. Maybe just because I'm impatient or what, but I don't know. But March seems as a long time away. Do you know what I mean? I could
I
have.
know, it'll soon be here though, won't it?
Yeah, of course, yeah. So I was like, no, thanks, but like no thanks. And then I went and released with them lads. They had it out in just over a week of sending it, and then someone sent me a video on TikTok. It's like, this is your tune, innit? And I looked. It's like this little Gremlin, Jolly Gremlins movie, and it was somewhere, and then the tune playing in the background and kicking in, and then I was like, fucking hell, it's done 20,000 views that, and then I looked on Facebook at it, seen it, it'd done 500,000 views. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? So I went down to wrestling last week with Bon Lee, another DJ, and we went down, and John, who's the other half of Manic, messaged me. He's going, mate, look at this, and then he sent it just as I'm driving. It's a 7-hour drive down to London from here, like. But I just kept getting messages, print screens of this video, and the numbers just going up and up. I went to this event and it was at 943,000. I was like, wow, what the fuck? And then I was like, we're going to get 1 million by 12 o'clock, aren't we? And then he kept messaging me during the event and that. And then I woke up the next morning, it was on 1.1 million, and I was like, fucking hell, 1.1 million views.
Nah, it's good going, that like.
It is. I think it's the most successful track I've had yet, but whether that translates into people streaming it and.
But do you thought he took it over 1 million when they start giving you credits or something like that? YouTube,
no, well, you get. So the way that labels collect money nowadays, everything's monetized. So if you put something on TikTok, you get like it's an absolute fractional of a penny. It's terrible.
So you need a lot.
Yeah. So, but 1 million views will be something. It won't be a great deal, but it'll be something. And you get paid off Facebook. It's all auto-generated. It picks up the audio file, and then it just sends it back to the distributor, which then gets given to the label when the next quarter of royalties come around. I'm not expecting a huge amount of money, but it's an achievement getting a million.
Definitely,
like,
100%.
It's one of the times where I've looked at what I've done. I'm like, fucking hell, that's had 1 million ears listening to that like sets of ears. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's hard to fathom that amount of people out as well, isn't it, in your mind, like, but it's a lot.
I thought that this podcast is doing fairly well. Obviously, you'll see some of the figures in that online when it's out, but I was thinking to myself, oh, I can do better. I can push it to do better, and it's not until my missus sat me down and was like, you do realise the numbers you're doing is pretty impressive, and I was like,
no, it is like a
no, but I'm
building from nothing, haven't you, really, as well, from start to finish all on your own.
It could be better though. Do you know what I'm saying? It could. Like, I'm always just pushing that a little bit further. And then she said to me, she says, imagine being in here, right, and picture 5,000 people standing outside watching it.
Be a big crowd out there.
Do you know what I mean? Because like on average, we're getting about 5,000 listens a week. Like
5,000 in the club would be a massive club, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So it's only when you put into perspective, imagining 5,000 people in a room, and it's like, maybe we are onto something then. And it's like, you've just got to be humble about it, haven't you? Like, you've just got to.
A lot of hard work as well, isn't it? That you put into it, like a lot of time.
It's graft. It's graft. There's been times where I've just woke up knowing that I've got to go off to work, come home from work, get my lala sorted, and then I'm gonna be up till like 2 or 3 in the morning editing podcasts. It's like them, and you're just like,
you can maybe do. Well, was getting too much. You maybe doing like a fortnight or something. Every fortnight, if you wanted to, just to give yourself a little break. Like,
no, I
keep it running.
That's it. I'm
You're on the train.
I'm too driven. It's like, because I'm one of these people. I'll complain about, oh fucking hell, I've got to sit there until 3 o'clock in the morning editing, but then I love it. I love doing it. So it's like it's one of them things. And yeah, my Thursdays into Fridays are always minimal sleep. Like, I've got up today and I think I've had about 3 hours, if that. And that's every week, but I'm used to it now. It's like, get a good sleep on a Sunday night and it prepares me for the week. I've got like tactical thoughts of how I do things. It's pathetic, really.
Even when you're asleep.
Yeah. No, but it's like, I'm thinking to myself, if I can get 8 hours on a Sunday and then through the week I get like 6, I can sort of keep going. And
I can operate on like 2 to 3 hours a day, like, but you'd be tired. But
yeah.
You know, I'm not one for.
What do you sleep at night? Roughly.
I don't know. Probably about 6 hours. I would say.
6
Get
hours.
it like that.
6 hours. I on average do between like when you set your alarm for work, and it'll say so and so until your alarm goes off. Mine's always like 5 hours 40.
It doesn't seem a lot like does it in 94 when it says that.
No, you're like fucking hell.
Your alarm will go off in 4.5 hours. Like, fuck, right.
Yeah, fucking hell. But yeah, right. So I want to get into this because we touched on the Hong Kong stories and stuff like that. And this is when people were messaging me saying you need to get him back on because if this is just scratching the surface, there's got to be so much more.
Well, there's so many I've forgotten about and all. But
see, when you last came on, did you get any friends message you out like that saying that they watched it?
Yeah, a lot of all my friends watched it. Like,
did they say why didn't you
they said
mention
you
this?
kept it clean and you haven't told, I just feel like you haven't told them half of them stories. You haven't kept. I says, I know, I kept it clean.
Well, there you go. See them stories to remind you of. You can get into some of them. We'll get into the one that you told me just off pod. You briefly told me there. So we'll lay the foundations of the story. What year was he?
It'll have been about 2007, I think.
Right.
Yeah, I was just DJing in the club one night.
Working in Hong Kong.
Yeah,
Living in Hong Kong
some of
at
the
the
lasses
time.
that were working there were heading off to Phuket in the morning.
Right.
So he said, when you come to the airport, we just come up. I said, alright, yeah, I'll come along. I had a load of beers, I was smashed on the airport express. And they said, why don't you come with us? I said, I can't go. How can I go? I said, I'm DJing tonight, I've got to be back there. So I got there, I said, I'll tell you what, I'll go and see how much the flight is. So I went up, it was like $7,000, it was quite expensive at the time. So I said, I'll go back, get my passport, back on the airport express.
Yeah.
Went and got my passport, credit card, went back to the airport, and that was it. We were down in Phuket. I had an absolute blinding time. And then
It's good, isn't it? I like Phuket.
yeah, it's lovely. I love it. That's where I used to work there. But done about 2 6-month stints there.
Yeah.
Used to go Hong Kong for a month, and then
The seasons
Phuket.
work different there, don't they? Like
yeah, it's high season around Christmas time.
yeah,
And it's still busy and all that. Just a little bit of rain in the afternoon.
yeah.
That's what, well, in low season rains.
And you also said that your boss rang you.
Yeah, I was in the pool there drinking some wine and that. And he says, why are you at work? I said, well, I'm in Phuket. He said, no, you're fucking not. I said, I am honest. And he says, well, what the fuck are you doing there? I said, look, I was smashed. I said, I've gone to the airport and I've just accidentally got on the plane.
Accidentally got on the plane.
He said,
Accidentally fell
he
off.
said, you must have fucking planned this, you planned it. I said, I haven't. He says, well, when are you coming back? I said, it's going to be about 3 days now. So I explained it all. He was all right when I got back. Like,
Yeah.
he says to us, he says, well, I can't really give you hard time since I've done it myself.
Class. Where were you working at the time there?
In Goodfellas it was called. Like a lap dance and bar up in Central, just at the top of Lang Kwai Fong.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be like you just set back off the main drag.
Right.
So yeah, it was a good little club that. Spent about 2 years there.
Did you like it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was good fun. It's like a little family working in there. It was good.
Class. It's there's although it's at like 1,000,000 miles an hour the place. There's lots of little communities,
Hong
isn't there? Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't even seen them all. I was there 10 years.
Yeah, there's lots of little communities. As in, like, if you work in a bar, it's like you're all know
you
each
know
other.
everyone
and
around,
yeah,
right, yeah.
and
There was always somewhere to go. That was the problem.
Yeah.
Day and night. I was struggling to get back to work for 9 at night. The next night, like,
I know. Imagine not being able to get to work on time at 9 at
well, it's
night.
still out.
Yeah, exactly.
Got to like witch it out in the afternoon. It's like 3 or 4, and you're still like, well, there's no point going back home now, is there? You know what I mean? Well, just trug on like.
Yeah,
But
with some of them photos that you sent me, though, I'm not even surprised that that's the state you were in.
It was
Yeah.
like every day. When I think back, it was brilliant, like, but I just couldn't cope with it now.
How did you find going there as an English person?
All right. Well, to be honest, the first time I went, I was pretty nervous. Like, I was really nervous about it because, again, just jumped on a plane, not knowing what to expect. Or more or
Halfway
less.
across the world as well.
Yeah.
So it's like,
A bit of a hangover.
yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, but everyone I met over there was, we were all Brits.
They're
A lot of
friendly,
Brits.
aren't
There was a lot of Brits there at the time. Like,
Yeah.
I even made a lot of friends with the Chinese as well, and lots of
I work.
just loads of different people, melting pot of people. That was everybody got on.
Yeah.
It was brilliant.
There's a lot of different nationalities in that as well, so it doesn't like it's not.
Yeah, that's what I loved about it. He was just like totally in your face, man. Coming from Whitehaven, where
Yeah.
it's pretty quiet.
I was talking to a guy the other day. He's a doctor at the hospital, and he bumped into me and sort of having a crack, and he said, he says, what do you think of Whitehaven? And I says, oh, it's good. He says, there's not much going on, is there? And I was like, well, no. He says, I'm thinking about maybe moving because, like, for my parents to come and see me, it's like 2.5 hour drive. And I was like, oh, right, okay. And he says, there's a thing with, like, Cumbrians and stuff. I was like, go on. He goes, none of them go past Penrith. They're sort of happy to stay.
It seems a miles away, doesn't it?
And no, but like none of them. Well, like for you on your own to go out to Hong Kong and do that, it's like for a Whitehaven person, like it's a big step in it.
No, but I suppose once you've made the commitment and you got the flight, there was no turning back really. But I'm glad I did.
Yeah,
it was brilliant. Just led to so many other things, you know what I mean? So
good.
10 years just absolutely flew by. So I come back home and everybody's married with kids and the kids are like 10 years old and you're like, hang on a minute, I've only been away a week, haven't I?
Feels like, hey, you've only been sober a week in 10 years.
It took us a while to figure it out. I'm thinking, what the fuck's just happened there? Like,
yeah.
Been a complete blur. It can't be 10 years. You think, Jesus, it is.
Class, innit? Class. But I found that like when I'm over there, that when you sort of have you done Japan before?
No, it was on the to-do list. Like it still is, but
yeah.
That's meant to be a bubble on its own. Japan, like
it is. That's what I was going to say.
A totally different world.
When I said totally different, I was shocked at some of the culture. So I don't think I've told these stories on the podcast, but I'll just briefly skirt over so you can see the Hong Kong to Japan difference. It's completely
hard to
polar
get around
opposites.
as well. One of my friends used a DJ over there, Penguin, if you're watching.
Penguin. DJ Penguin.
Paul Bainham. I used to go to Belfari over there, and he used to DJ in Japan. He'd go on a Thursday night, Friday morning.
Yeah.
And he'd come back on a Sunday. He'd just go for the one night, come back to Hong Kong on the Sunday. And then he'd ring me up and I'd be like, Phil, where are you? I said, oh, I'm still out. He's like, what, from Friday? I was like, yeah. He said, fucking hell, man. So he'd come down and meet us, like, but he's like, how the fuck you do this? And he to Japan and back.
Yeah.
I was still in Wan Chai.
What do you prefer, Lang Bai Fong or Wan Chai?
Wan Chai, I would think. Well, I don't know, I like them both for different reasons, really. But
the two, what from my perspective, I always found I found Lang Bai Fong a bit like classier,
a bit more.
Yeah,
Wan Chai let your hair down, right?
It's rough.
And
it's not rough. It's rough around the edges, and it's like I prefer that style, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, that's where we lived.
Yeah,
right in the middle of it, like so.
Class.
Just over the bridge behind Lockout Road. No, Lockout Road. It goes right through the middle of Wan Chai. Along the road.
Oh yeah,
where all the bars
obviously. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we just lived on the street behind that, just over the bridge. So I was just hopping a skip to get home and back, like.
Class.
It's handy.
But yeah, the difference between Hong Kong and Japan that I found was when I went to Hong Kong, people are. It's fast paced. Do you know when you go for say like breakfast and that, and they just throw the plate at you, put it down, go people at the end, and that's you've got to like. When I thought this is rude, but like you just get used to it. Yeah, you just get used to it. And
I know they're very polite in Japan over there. Like people.
No, well that's the thing. I found it the opposite. When I went there, I went to Japan, and this is God's honest truth as well. We were walking down roads, and there was Japanese people crossing the road because I was white. Really? Yeah, but. I at first didn't sort of click on
in Japan, Tokyo?
Osaka, right, and I went. Fantastic, by the way, and a lot of like say shopkeepers and that shopkeeper I was in this comic book store, and they really didn't want to serve me. Really did not want to serve me. Yeah.
I'm surprised at that, like, because
that's just my personal experience.
They're really polite and mild mannered.
But then when I went to the touristy places, so we went to do you know when you go and sit and eat on the floor with the table and take your shoes and that off and put whatever. I went and done all that and had like a lot of fish and noodles and all that. Anyways, so I was sitting there and the people there couldn't have been nicer. They were just overly nice, if anything. But yeah, one of my other things was this is another thing that I found when you cross cultures, some shit can translate wrong. Do you know what I mean? And I had a bad experience when I was there, which my own fault. I just didn't know.
Where in Japan?
In Japan, yeah. So I went to do you know the bathhouses, like the saunas, and they've got all that. So I went there before you get stripped down and out on. You go in, shower yourself down, go in and whatever, and just chill out. So there's a male section and a female section. So I'm sitting there, and when you go in, you wash yourself down. I was sitting on this chair. And this fella come up from behind. He fucking put his hand on my shoulder. I said, "You all right?" He goes, "What's going on here?" I was like, "Well, I don't know what's the problem." And he thought I was in a gang. I've got a tattoo on my back. I don't like tattoos there, and I didn't realise they wanted me to cover it up.
What's that to do with the religion or something like that?
I'm not sure what. Well, apparently, because not everyone has tattoos over there. If you've got tattoos, it tends to be gang related.
Yakuza.
Don't look like Yakuza though, do I? Do you know what I mean?
Yakuza.
No, but yeah, and he was like, and then obviously there was a bit of muddling translation because I thought it was like target me for something. Or I don't know. Like I was just like on the back foot straight away.
Maybe about it.
And then so I went out to the front, and I was like, in the hallway. I just said like the robes and that. And I said, "What's the problem?" And he's saying to the woman behind the counter in Japanese, and then she said to me, he says, they don't like having tattoos on show when you're in these places because it scares a lot of the customers off thinking that it's gang related. And I was just like, it sort of clicked, and I was like, oh, right, okay. Well, I didn't know anything about it personally. I've obviously came home, I've went on Reddit and had a little look, and apparently it's a common thing that...
What was the tattoo of like?
It's a dad tattoo, but it's...
like a big sword down your back.
But if you didn't know, if you couldn't see it, it's got music notes and that on, and like, if you didn't know what it was, it could be, I suppose, deemed as like not provocative, but do you know what I mean? But it's just an interesting one, that isn't it? Like how cultures judge you differently. Whereas if you see some people, like you see like. In the UK walking around and they've got the full sleeve tattoos and fucking
it's very popular now,
tattooed head to toe.
It's like tattooed,
they wouldn't stand a chance.
covering up their ex-wives' names and stuff.
Yeah, here's a good one. I don't know if I should tell this actually, but my uncle.
Go on then.
I'll tell it anyways. He doesn't watch this anyways. He's like fucking.
Well, you might watch this one.
It's gonna clip and it'll go viral or something. But so on his arm.
He's not your uncle anymore.
Yeah, he's covered in tattoos, right? And on his arm. I can't even say the names because I know that their sons watch this. Right. So he's got X here, right here. We'll use Stacey. He's got Stacey right there. Right. That's his ex-wife. Fell out with her, right? And he got with a girl called, let's say, I'm trying not to say the real names. Karen, right? So obviously Karen wasn't happy with Stacey's name on there, so he went down to the tattooists, just crossed Stacey's name out. You can still see it. It's just a line through it, and he's got Karen wrote underneath.
Was she happy with that?
I don't know, but I like for years. Obviously, growing up, he's had that tattoo for what 30, 40 years.
It's a lifetime commitment. Did he give him like
getting a tattoo?
Right.
So, do you know when you're just like as a kid and you're like, I wonder what's going on there. And it was I asked I think I asked my mum about it years ago, and she said, "Oh, then told me that story," and I was like, "Why doesn't he just get it covered up?" Do you know what I mean? Like instead of just putting a line through it.
I'm still reminding you.
Yeah. No, and then like I showed my missus it, right, and she was like, "Well, what happens if he gets another missus? He's just going to put a thing through Karen's name and put someone else underneath there." Yeah, the collection. Yeah. But yeah, there's more to that story as well, but I'll have to tell you off pod. But yeah, sort of Thailand. We got into Thailand there. What did you like about that? What was the?
Pretty much everything. Phuket. I love Phuket. It's beaches all the way around it. Yeah. And it's just I prefer that towards Samui and things like that.
Do you find it's very much like it's I want to say similar, but it's very much like an Ibiza or Magaluf. It's like
it's getting like that now.
Yeah.
But back like years ago, it used to be not as developed as it is now.
Yeah.
Now you've got like your Starbucks and your McDonald's and it's just like Blackpool now down the strip in Patong. Like
it's literally a strip, isn't it? Like a big strip.
Well, the place I went was just right at the end. It was like a place called Hard Rock Go-Go. And a place called Club Rio underneath it on the ground floor.
Yeah, I know this. Is it the one
below
with
it on the
steps going
corner?
up?
Yeah.
Oh my God, we were in there.
Well, there's a club below. It used to be called Club Rio, right in the corner.
Right.
And that's the one we used to work there. But the tsunami washed it all away, didn't it? So I ended up.
I'm sure you can share some of your experiences if you like.
They're hard to remember over the time, like, but if you're talking with like the people you were over there with, then
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
what I mean.
memories keep coming back. But like just off the cuff now, I can't really think of any stories. at the
How
moment.
many of you went to Thailand when you went?
Just me.
It was just you and you just met people out
Well,
there?
the lad CJ, another DJ over there, he's from Hawaii,
Yeah.
and he'd gone over there to set. He builds sound systems and stuff like that. And
No.
so he's got a friend over there who set up the club. And he's known him for years, so they're not that real.
Yeah.
And we just wanted 2 DJs, 3 months in Hong Kong, 3 months.
Oh, that's
Just used
good.
to travel on the same day, back and forth every 3 months.
Yeah.
So he went over there, and then I did the second 3 month, and that was good for about 2 years. Just like I said, until the tsunami came, but I finished that era really.
Did you? And then what? So what year did you come back from Hong Kong?
2008.
2008.
It doesn't seem that long ago, like, but it's.
It is 15 years ago, isn't
Yeah,
it? It's fucking 15 years of been back here.
I know, but that's fluid as well. I don't know where the time's gone there, but I'm just getting old now. Like nearly 50. When I first went to Hong Kong, I was like 20, 21, 22, I think.
Yeah. So
So I missed a lot back here then as well, because a lot of things had changed and gone on, and
yeah.
you know, with the nightlife scene and everything. When I come back, it's like sort of starting all over again. But you know, it was,
Obviously, just you were around what I would call the peak years of the Asian boom, because it was when the British Army were over there and there was a lot of expats
But it was
and
after the handover when I went.
yeah.
It was like 98, not 99, I think it was.
Yeah,
98.
but there was a 20-year handover,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
nothing really happened overnight, but
Yeah,
like you say, that's now, isn't it?
yeah. Because I know a lad who went there in '95, and it was I worked with him. I can't say his name
You
because
didn't need any visa or anything then, so a lot of
No.
Brits were there, like, but
I don't want to incriminate him.
go on.
But I'm not going to say. You might know him actually.
What's
Obviously,
his name?
I can't be asked editing and bleeping it out, so I'll have to tell you afterwards. Just remind me.
Yeah, I know what he's.
He went over, and it was New Year's Eve, 1995, and he said to me, he said, when you're in Hong Kong and you're a Brit at that time, in the army as well, he said it was wild. It was it was the best years of his life. He says it was the best years of his life until he woke up on New Year's Day 1996, woke up in a hotel room in Central, and he'd married a prostitute the night before, woke up...
Easy done.
Easy done. Talking from experience. But he woke up, he had a name tattooed on his arm. He had
hangover.
he had his name tattooed on his arm, and he had I think that he got that steaming and wrecked on the New Year's Eve. He went out and got his regiment or something like that tattooed here,
Right.
and underneath he's got a name tattooed, right,
Right.
and married her. He had to go through.
Everything's possible, like.
He was meant to come home halfway through January in '96. He didn't end up coming home until the May because he had to go through divorce proceedings and because it was
on day 2.
yeah. So when everything opened back up after Christmas and New Year, he went down and said, "Listen, this is what's happened." Da da da. And obviously, for it to all get processed and everything, he had to stay there a bit longer. I don't think the army were happy with what happened, but
The
understandable.
reputation.
But yeah,
Shit
he got went to sleep in 1995. Woke up in 1996 married. And the tattoo as well. He told me that, and I was just like, "That's unbelievable." He says, "Mate," that doesn't even scratch the surface of what was going on in Hong Kong at that time. Like he says, it was a Brit's paradise.
Right.
So yeah,
it was mental back in the day. It was just socially acceptable to be out in the piss every day,
Yeah.
every night, and just a good crack with the lads. That's what I missed as well. Like, it was just a good bunch of folk out there that I met over the years. Like,
do you think I don't know if you've noticed this, and anyone who's watching who has been involved in any of this type of thing will be able to relate to it. Do you not think when you get a new venue or a new brand or you go to a new place and there just seems to be a set of the right people at the right moment of their lives where
Right.
yous have all crossed paths and yous all look back on it very, very fondly for
yeah, at
years?
the time you don't eat.
Yeah, it's
just
just
a norm. But when you do look back, yeah,
when you look back at it,
you
yous
think they were
were all...
great times. But they're probably great times now. When
Yeah.
you look back.
Oh yeah, of
You know what
course.
I mean?
Yeah. But like you have this thing where there's something new, and before it all gets out of hand and becomes something nuts like this for me
that
now.
era moves on.
I'm really enjoying the guests I'm getting on here. I hopefully one day don't want to be this thing where I look back on these early episodes fondly of like, do you know where I'm coming from? Like, I'm going to try and keep this what it is now. I don't want it to evolve into something it's not. But have you ever, like, so for instance, I've took residencies in clubs or for brands before in the past, and it just feels there's a moment of magic where it's like this is all working. There's just a group of mates that are having fun.
Yeah.
You're having fun with the bar staff, the bouncers,
The night you don't
everything.
want it to end, innit? It's like,
Exactly.
yeah.
And then over time, things develop, and some people move on, and it's new crowd in, and it just doesn't feel the same as it once did.
No.
Did you ever get like that with like some?
I came home for a brief spell in after I'd left Thailand. I came home.
Yeah.
It was I think I was back for about 6 months or something, and then I just thought, I'm going back again. So I went back to Hong Kong. But then, even then, after like 6 months, was it 6 months to maybe 8 months or something like that. But even then, I could never get them old times back that I'd had from then. But you were making the new times.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
If you're still making new times, that's good.
A lot of people moved on. It was different. I was in different bars, different clubs.
Yeah.
But you're always looking back to go to the old ones where you were comfortable, you were happy.
Yeah.
But we're always moving around. We're working for an agency, so we
Yeah.
just dotted about in every different bar, come on different nights.
Yeah. If there's anyone,
And the amount of times I've left my CDs in bars and pubs. Oh, man,
somebody's got full CD collections because
Oh
you.
no, I've left them in a 7-Eleven. I've left a big box of them, silver box of CDs. Left them in a 7-Eleven. I remember lying in bed in the morning. I woke up in the morning. I was thinking, there's something wrong. There's something wrong.
Some Chinese fellas just got loads of
something
fucking
bothering me
anthems.
in my mind.
Yeah.
And then I just thought, shit, CD box. Looked outside in the flat, come outside the bedroom. It wasn't there. I was like, oh my fucking god, where is it? The whole lot's gone like. And I thought last time I had him was in the 7-Eleven downstairs in Wampo, so I went down. And the old woman who knew was going in there, smashed every night.
Yeah.
She's like, I keep it for you. They're here.
Oh,
And I
class.
was like, fucking hell. Oh, but that was a scary one. My heart was pounding like I thought.
See, do you know what? See, when you're the local drunk, right?
No,
People seem to
no,
take
yeah.
care of you a bit more, don't
I
they?
know.
It's like you've seen, like, I'll be back
I mean,
tomorrow,
the
Stephen.
poor woman couldn't speak a word of English, but she understood it.
Yeah,
somehow.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like I said, for anyone out there as well who's experienced this on different levels, where you've worked for a certain brand or club or whatever, let me know in the comments of who it was and where it was, because I'd be interested to see that.
I remember another time in the bar there's a bar opposite when I first got there for a few months. There was one of the managers in there called Johnny, and I used to just run up a tab on my drinks afterwards. I was already smashed.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't even remember running up the tab, but you go back and he'd be like, Phil. He says, you got a bill here to pay. I was like, alright. So I had a look at it. And it says on the top, the drunk DJ from Rick's.
Class.
I was like, well, I take it that's me then,
Must be. Only person who matches the description.
Yeah.
Is it alright if we just do some questions, mate?
Yep. No worries.
Obviously, I showed you these beforehand as well, so you should have some good answers for me. So this is podcast questions. If you've got any questions that you want to ask guests, fire them over to me at It's Time to Refresh on Instagram and at It's Time to Refresh on Facebook. Just drop me a message, say, hi, this is the question, and then I didn't realise I had some in the message requests on Instagram, and I didn't know because it doesn't come through to the primary one, it comes through as a request.
Aye.
So I've got an actual backlog of questions now. So yeah, this is what I said at the beginning. I think this is a pretty good question, and it could lead to an interesting answer. Hi Brad, what is your most controversial opinion? Sorry if it's been asked before, keep up the good work. And that's from Nick LUFC.
Controversial opinion?
Yeah.
For me or for you?
Give me your most controversial opinion.
No, then you'll have to give us a clue. I don't know. I'm not really an opinionated guy. Like,
No. Is there anything that you like that you hear about and it's like, so a classic one would be, right, for instance, I don't agree with this, by the way, I think that absolutely great. A lot of people always say to me, especially people from Liverpool, the Beatles aren't that good. And I'm like, I love the Beatles.
I'm not really a fan of the Beatles, like, I'll be honest with you, but I know they were
the pioneers, man.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
When
I don't know, just their music doesn't hit the string with.
oh yeah, obviously that's what it is, and a lot of people say that as well. But I would like
Can't
to
knock them for what they've done, though.
Yeah, well, as I said, that a lot of people will say, "Oh, the music was just basic and poppy," but there wasn't the pop element of things there.
They're all like
before.
nursery rhymes, aren't they? That's what I think.
Yeah.
They're just
But
catchy,
then,
they're catchy.
if you listen to, say, the later stuff, where it was like Sergeant Pepper's and stuff like that, and the sort of latter end of their stuff, it was real. They were calling avant-garde music, wasn't it? It was stuff they were using like Indian strings, and they were really like experimental. They were the first people. Like, so for instance, this is why I think they're amazing. They were doing like layers. They were like production wise, they were like pioneers. They were layering like vocals in ways that had never been done before. They were recording sounds to add into their music that wasn't music, and I was like, oh, like this is.
Yeah, well, that's probably what set them apart, isn't it? Cause
Yeah.
they were the forefront.
But
back then,
obviously,
like.
you've got "She Loves You," yeah, which is just simply like a nursery rhyme.
I know, that's what they remind me of when you hear them.
Yeah,
Yellow
yeah.
Submarine and that.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's catchy and people remember, and that's.
Yeah.
No, don't get me wrong, the music was probably good as well. For
Yeah,
you know?
see, I like Penny Lane and stuff like that, but then you hear Strawberry Fields and like the chord progressions and stuff like that. It's like really experimental. I know, obviously, I'm just using this as an example. This isn't my controversial one, but I'm just saying that's what a controversial opinion would be.
I can't really think about that. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't know what to
Give you
say.
24 hours to think about
I
this.
know. I've looked at all the other questions. I didn't think about that one.
So for me, a controversial opinion, right? Oh God.
Start.
I know. Where do I start? Here's one that
I don't
was
like controversy.
a controversial opinion would be, right. A lot of people don't like it, but there's something really satisfying about it. I don't listen to it every day. I really like hardcore, like like Gabba hardcore, like the European stuff, and I like, for me, that like 200 BPM. boom, boom, boom. It's I heard that first. Because at first, when I heard that first, I was like, "Wow, what the fuck is this?"
What's your opinion then on that?
Well, this is my controversial opinion. I love this, and I think it's really good. It's not really popular. It's really popular it's not really popular in the UK, but it's popular in like Europe and stuff.
On the big German mosh pits.
Yeah, and I love that sound. But my opinion is, right, that when I was younger, growing up, and I'd listen to like house music, obviously the bounce stuff, the hard dance, the Italian. I remember a friend of mine showing me heavy metal, right, and I was like, "Fucking hell, what is that? Like, that is just fucking noise."
No.
Right.
Well, like the proper heavy stuff.
Yeah, like
The thrash stuff.
yeah. Well, when I heard like screamo for the first time, like
I've never even heard of them. Like,
well, it's like it's a style. It's like, so. Do you know when you hear them screaming over the things? And I was like, wow, this is just noise.
and they're just all like kicking each other. And that,
yeah, exactly.
Aye.
How can people enjoy this, right? And obviously, as you grow up, you sound sort of, your ear develops, and it's like you start to learn and take on more sort of music. And I always liked a bit of rock music, and then over the years, I was like, how the fuck are still people listening to this? It's like death metal and stuff like that. And then in about 2014, 2015. I started getting into Gabba and the really, really tough stuff, and I thought to myself, remember when I was fucking 6 or 7 and I first heard this, and I thought, how can people like this? And I've started to grow on me.
It changes as you get older.
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
Like, it's like all the music that didn't like, but it grows on you as you get older, doesn't it?
Yeah. So what for instance would that be? Would you say what was it?
I don't know. A lot of 70s stuff, 80s stuff. I mean, now, like, my parents always listened to ABBA when we were kids.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense here, but you listen to the lyrics become more sense
Yeah.
when you get older, if you know what I mean. When you listen to them, it's like them pouring their hearts out in it.
Alright.
But yeah, it didn't make any sense when you're younger, but just when you get older.
ABBA's class, by the
Tunes
way.
do. Oh no, the music's amazing. Like, when you listen to it from
Yeah.
back then, it is pretty good. Like,
Yeah, but my point was that, for instance, I look at Gabba the same way I look at heavy metal. It's like, so for me, house and hard dance music's like the rock, and then the Gabba's like the metal. Like, do you know what I'm saying? See where I'm coming from? And I thought,
different ends of the
yeah. But it's like a build up. So there's the people who dip the toe into house music and can listen to it casually. The way I was listening to, say, AC/DC, Guns N' Roses, just casual. Oh, I know Paradise City, or I know Sweet Child of Mine, or Highway to Hell, and all this type of stuff. And I'm like, you know something? Maybe I should give it another listen, and I've started listening to a lot of like heavy metal and stuff like that. A lot of people will be switching off when they hear that because like it's not
Each
really
their own, innit? Maybe
each their own.
There's a time and
And-
place for everything sometimes. You know, even listen to like things in the car.
Yeah.
You hear all sorts of genres come on, isn't there, like on radio, but it's just endless supply of what you can listen to, isn't it, nowadays?
Yeah, definitely. But I know I'm sort of beating around the bush to get my controversial opinion, but heavy metal grew on me, just like Gabba did, and it's like, I listen to a lot of heavy metal now, and I'm thinking to myself, this is my controversial opinion, like, I'll try and shorten it down. I heard somebody say to me a while back, do you still play that hard music? And I'm like, yeah, I do, yeah. It's like, oh,
Stick some 9 Inch Nails on.
Oh no, I'm on about like hard house and hard dance, and it's like, and I'm like, yeah. And by the way, these are a couple of tech DJs who was talking to me. They're like tech and sort of progressive house, and they were like, it's all right. One day you'll develop a taste and you'll grow out of it. And I thought to myself, this is my controversial opinion.
You know what I mean?
How the fuck can you grow out of a music if you enjoy something? You don't grow. It's not like you're watching
It's up to yourself, isn't
cartoon
it?
time as a child. Do you know what I mean?
No one else can tell you what you like. It's up to
Yeah,
yourself,
but it's like I thought that comment was a bit off. Like you'll grow out of it. What?
Oh yeah, well that's one when people always say to you, when you're gonna grow up as well. Like,
Yeah.
I've heard that a few times.
That's my controversial opinion. Like
It ain't gonna happen, is it?
my controversial opinion is, why should I grow up or grow out of a style of music? It's like, if you enjoy it, right? Fuck, just enjoy it.
When people say to you, yeah, you've never changed, and you're like, well,
Why
what
change?
am I supposed to change into? Chameleon, like, or what? You know what I mean?
Well, this is what I said. I seen a little conversation thread the other day. I think it might have been on Reddit or something I was reading, and it was like, do you know when you're a kid and you go to school and you see through the years you'll maybe change, and you see some people will become maybe, I don't know, like moshers, or get into like heavy metal, and they might change the appearance, and you're like, fucking hell, that's a bit of a shock, but then you get used to it. It's like, do you not think when you become an adult, there's no one would accept your change. If you were to change and say one day, oh, I like wearing this style of clothes. I'm not saying go extreme and start fucking doing whatever, but
People always have something to say about things. won't
yeah,
they?
yeah. If you one day were wearing, I don't know, fucking, if you're wearing them Adidas trainers one day, that Adidas top, and then the next day you come and you're dressed in like, and you think, oh, I just fancy something a bit smarter or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Like,
People will be like, oh, he's lost it.
yeah,
He's lost the plot.
What's going on? Yeah, and it's like, as an adult, you can't reinvent yourself because people don't like, or you're like.
Do you think that's just like in Cumbria?
I think that's
If
everywhere.
you go down to cities, I don't think
That-
people really don't mind at all.
They don't mind, but the thing is though, if you rocked up, right, say you're dressed like this, and then you go and dress like the other end of the spectrum and say that you become a proper mega goth, right,
yeah.
and you're there all in black, fucking big boots,
I'd be
big leather
shocked, I'd be
jacket,
shocked myself.
and you walked around, and you walked around Manchester city centre, no one will bat an eyelid because they don't know you.
Nah.
But I bet you them people who are doing that, who's changed, will go back to wherever they're from and be like, fucking hell, I've changed. It's like, do what you want, do what makes you feel happy.
yourself. I know, that's it.
And if you feel comfortable or you feel like you need a bit of a
You can
change,
get out, I suppose, with social media as well now, though, because a lot of people have a lot to say with social media as well. It's one of the
Yeah.
dark sides of it, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
But it's just one of the things. It's where we're at now in life, isn't it?
what? So if you were to put a controversial opinion forward, what would it be?
I don't know, just be yourself and... well, that's not even controversial, is it? I don't know.
Have you not got a view on, like, say, like a football club or like what's your hobbies other than music? You can have something music related if you want. Have you got a controversial opinion?
I don't think I have, honestly. I can't think about it.
So for
Sorry about that
instance,
question. I haven't thought about that one.
no, for instance, like I could have a controversial opinion and say I don't think AC/DC are that good. Like a lot of people would jump down my throat and go the legends, whatever they are. For me, that, like you said about the Beatles.
I've got one. Well, Daft Punk. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But for me, I'll probably get slated for this, like. But I thought they were overrated, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you?
Yeah,
Thank God for that.
I
If
agree.
anyone else
I
doesn't,
never-
that's just my opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
But,
Obviously,
I mean,
people
when that
will
new
love
album
them.
came out, everyone's raving about it, and I listened to it, and I was like, hasn't done a lot for me, that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't get it.
No, but they're massive. I know the music's fine. It's great. It's popular. It's
I've never done this before, but we'll do it now, right? We'll just go onto Spotify and go into Daft Punk, and we'll see what their top 5 tunes are. And I bet you I could say I don't like any of them. I went to the massive banger in there, wasn't I?
Get Lucky.
Get Lucky. Don't like you.
Well,
it's catchy.
It's chic, isn't it? It's just chic guitars.
Right. Here's one more time. Right by Daft Punk. I didn't get the hype about it.
No, I don't. I mean, I did like Around the World and The Funk, the first few that come out there.
Yeah. What else? The Instant Crush. I don't even know that tune.
No.
Around the World's obviously there. I don't like it. I don't. Maybe I just don't get what they're about.
No, I'm the same with that. But I mean, I've listened to everything that they've done and things like that. And,
do you ever listen to say?
It's just not tick the boxes for me, like.
Oh yeah. Do you ever listen to say a DJ or a producer or a band or some sort of whatever artist, right? When someone's ranting and raving and saying these are the fucking best things since
like summer tune this year, and you're like,
yeah, or even like their album is like it's god tier, and it's like you listen to it and you're like, I'm not hearing what you're hearing.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Well,
So,
everyone's different, aren't they? You're always gonna have different opinions on things, like. But
see, one of my favourite artists ever, and I find really, really interesting, is Dave Grohl from Foo Fighters and Nirvana.
No, they're all just talented geezer, isn't he?
Yeah, he is really, really talented, right? I love Nirvana, right?
And he broke his leg on the stage, didn't he? Went to the hospital and come back.
Yeah.
Legend.
But here's one thing about him, right? I don't like Foo Fighters. I've said it on the podcast before. I don't like Foo Fighters.
Aye.
I just don't get the music. But people rant and rave how amazing they are.
There's a couple of them I like. I'm not a big fan of the music, but there's a couple of songs that are alright. It's sort of on the edge of like the soft rock to the hard rock.
Yeah, I
somewhere in the
simply
middle.
don't get it.
Well, maybe it isn't. I don't know. That's how I see it. But yeah. I mean, I do like Dave Grohl as a performer as well.
Yeah.
I like to watch him.
Yeah,
Even if I
exactly.
don't like the music, but
Yeah.
you know, I like to watch the band, the Foo Fighters.
Do you find
Good
some
show.
people? I was going to say attractive, but not attractive. But do you find yourself pulled in by some performers? Like, there's some people who are undeniably they've got so much presence when they're on stage. Like everyone always refers to Freddie Mercury when he's on stage. Do you find that with some people you don't ever necessarily like the music, but
Yeah, you like to watch the show.
they are a show?
Yeah,
like,
definitely, yeah. Well, sometimes I'd like to watch concerts and stuff like that, and you know, you drift off the music, you're just watching the performance and everything.
Yeah.
I watch a show and I'll be even watching, I know it sounds boring, but I'll be watching how the lights are working and the whole thing. You know what I mean?
It is
like
a show in
It's a
itself.
big full show, yeah. And everything's working together. It makes it look amazing, doesn't it?
I find myself looking, and as well, like when I watch, for instance, let's say, oh fucking hell, it could be anything really. Find myself watching a band. The Who were The Who were a good band, right? And there's a lot of presence, but like is it Keith Moon, their drummer? Is that's the right one I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
Right, and you watch him, and like I'm not necessarily a massive fan of The Who, but when you watch them and you're just like, some people, like I've seen DJs got this. A good DJ out there who's a good example of this is Rob Kane, right? You watch him DJ, he could be playing house, he could be playing the harder stuff, right? You watch him perform.
And just showing it on.
Yeah, even though you, like, for instance, I'm not a massive fan of some of the funky stuff. I like funky house, but I'm not a massive fan of it. But then if you watch him play it, you find yourself sort of pulled in by it. Do you know what I mean? I'm just like, wow, because he's there and he's got this famous video online where he scratched with a shoe and stuff like that. Like he just puts on a show, and like the energy that he shows that he's enjoying himself, and you can see that the crowd are eating into it regardless
Carl
if
Cox
they're
is like that.
Carl Cox. You see him there and he's fingering away, and he's just
as soon as you know when Carl Cox is playing, as soon as you go in the room,
his atmosphere.
Yeah, they just
Great.
know.
So like presence is a lot of thing.
I don't know where he gets his energy from, mind.
He's like 60 now.
I know,
60,
yeah.
isn't it?
Big fella, it's just non-stop, like.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'll tell you something. We've just run into that one question now. We've sort of went off on a tangent.
As you do.
Yeah. We're going to do some throwback attack. I hope you've read these questions.
This is going to go a long way back then. I know, the primary school one.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, I have to go back to 1980.
So this is throwback attack. We feel Goodall. Let's do this. Right. So quick as you can. First response. Let's do this.
Go on.
What song do you think of when you think back to primary school?
Axel F.
Oh, tune.
Yeah.
The synth in that.
That's left.
Yeah.
Paul Hardcastle 19, all that electronic stuff. But
Yeah.
that's what got us onto that electronic sound originally. Things like that.
Hollow Faultmeyer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. What song do you think of when you think back to secondary school?
Probably go back 10 City. That's the way love is. That's a great track for me. Like, good memories.
Good memories. So do you want to hear your tunes and you think, does it sort of spark?
Still sounds great today, though. Didn't I think that tune?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Or maybe it's just me.
No, it does. But does it, like when you say you're not hearing tunes nowadays that you can sort of latch onto, it's because sometimes you hear them tunes, even though it's a great tune, you think back to different
memories,
times.
yeah.
Memories attached to them. It's weird how you can.
You know exactly where you were at when you hear a tune and what year it was, and you can just
It-
pinpoint the year of what you were doing at that time when that tune was out.
I know we were referring back to it before, to Hong Kong, but do you know when you walk and you get off the plane to Hong Kong and you take the first breath and it's like, it smells like Hong Kong?
Aye.
That with music is for me. So when I hear a tune and it could be the first note of a tune, and there was one I heard the other day and I hadn't heard it in years, and it just took me back to that moment in time of like, wow, that was fucking. It's weird how
It's good to look back on it as well. And
but it's weird how
sense.
it just clicks in your brain of like, oh yeah, remember that?
Well imprinted in there, like, isn't it?
Oh yeah, exactly. What song do you think of when you think of your first set of decks?
I'm thinking probably Solo, Come On, around that era.
Right.
Yeah,
And was that a big tune for you?
yeah,
Can you remember the first record you got?
yeah. Grand Plaza, Wow Wow Na Na. Do you know that one or
No,
not?
I don't know.
I'll tell you, like, it's like samples that. There's Banana Rama. Na 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 na.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was the first tune, boys with Pink Panther. Aye. Yeah, I've still got it.
Yeah.
That's one that's survived all the way over the years. Like.
Yeah, it must have been in a good thing.
Yeah.
It must have been kept.
I'll send you a link to it after, you can have a listen.
Class,
to it.
oh
It's
definitely.
got some good scratching in it, see, and that's where I wanted to the scratch like that. Still can't, like. But,
I always keep saying to myself, just add another bow to the string to your bow by just learn to scratch, Brad, and then
I've spent hours trying to do it years ago, like.
and I've just never got round to even trying. Do
I've never figured out on the controller, like, but.
you know what I mean? Like I've just never.
No, I mean, you don't have to, you don't want to do it.
Yeah, I do want to do
became
it.
obsessed with it at one point, like, just. It's hard. It was hard to get your brain to.
Who's your favourite scratching DJ? Like, who that you've heard?
Nipper, I would say.
Nipper.
Yeah.
Is that old school DJ?
Yeah, he lives in Hong Kong, so I know Nipper. Like,
Yeah.
so.
Oh, you put me onto it actually.
Yeah. He still does live streams every week on.
Yeah, that's
On
where I
his-
think I've seen then.
on
You,
Twitch.
you've put it on to me, and I think I've followed his page. I think that's happened. Yeah, what? And he was just like the one that inspired you
Well,
to. I want
when
to
we had the taste back in the day, it's just like from Hackett's and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Everybody shared the same tape. I mean, like, but his scratching was amazing. But I remember trying to do it myself first, and just instead of using the fader, not the crossfader, I tried to do it too fast at first, and then when I saw some DJs doing it, like on a video or in the clubs or whatever,
Yeah.
it's actually quite slow.
Yeah.
The
It
way
obviously goes
Yeah,
BPM.
and like on
yeah.
the DMC
The
championship.
DMC, right? When you
And
watch
when I
them,
watch it, it's so slower.
they mix, but their tunes are like 80 to 90 to 100 BPM.
Yeah.
That's why it's so slow. But when you see, I've watched some. There's a guy, shout Vinny Towler, really good DJ. Underrated, criminally underrated, in fact. But when he scratches, I watched him scratch the hardcore, and it's just fuck me.
It's a flick of the fingers.
Oh my god! I'm like,
But I
wow.
usually didn't have a crossfader on my first mixer, so when I was like learning, I've got it in my brain with just the fader going up.
Yeah,
So
a lot of people do it like that
to
though.
try and use, I've tried to go with the crossfader, but it's hard to get your brain to work out a way around from side to side.
You're
instead of
working two rhythms as well, though.
Yeah.
'Cause, I know a little bit about scratching, but when you've got to be focusing on the timing of the deck
Yeah.
to get the right sound. But then
and it's quite slow on the actual.
on the deck as well,
Yeah.
the platter. Yeah, I thought that. So go on. What song do you think of when you first think of your first days of going out?
First days of going out, I reckon it's got to be an old rave tune. That's probably like Human Resource Dominator.
Tune,
Yeah.
that sound. Yeah.
Or Joy Belter of Energy Flash.
That
That
was
was
that,
like the early days of when I first started going out. Like,
where
it
did
was
you
like
first
proper
hear that
Belgium
out?
techno.
Where did you first hear that? Just out of curiosity.
I think it was probably in the White House. They used to
Yeah.
do like Saturday afternoons and rave, or I think you got a Carl Cox tape from somewhere in Scotland, some big rave, I can't remember,
Alright.
Engliston or something like that. They used to do them. We used to buy tapes from Pink Panther with Carl Cox and Fantasia and stuff.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And I think it was on one of them when I first heard it, and then got the vinyl, and it's all in the clubs, and all those things like that.
Just nowadays, I can't picture that style really working, but
No,
obviously,
no, it's all been remixed as well, hasn't it? Now?
Yeah.
But
I've
it's a lot
sampled that
slower
sound,
when you
like-
hear it. It's quite
Oh, yeah.
slow, and then when the trance come along, that's like really fast when you hear it now, isn't it?
yeah,
And it's gone back down again.
yeah. It's like a lot of Prodigy stuff. Like I don't know if it would work. I love Prodigy by the way, but there's a lot of their stuff. I don't know if it would work in a generic
It's hard
club
to put
nowadays.
into a
Isn't it?
techno, isn't it? A few things like.
Yeah. What song do you think back to when you think of your golden era?
I'd probably go to System F Out of the Blue.
Oh, what a tune! I had it on in the car this morning.
Yeah,
It
it just
is.
never feels like does it?
Where were you at when you first heard that?
Simon Kennedy, I did on vinyl.
Yeah.
I heard it on the Essential Selection, and I think I've got to get that. And Simon come into the forum, and he had it on vinyl. I couldn't believe it. I was like, where'd you get that
That's
from?
true.
So he was the first one to have it, like when nobody else had it.
That big like snare or whatever it is in
Just
that.
like them rolling drums as well.
And then when for me the tune
Just captures the emotion, like doesn't it? It's
Yeah.
brilliant.
the
Even
tune
now.
when I first heard it I've never heard anything like it at the time, and when I first heard it, when the tune you're mixing the tune in and then it goes to the kick, the bass and the string, so and then
just kicks
it's
out
the
of it.
rolling bass line, the
And everything
kick.
else fades off, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah.
And that just gets all emotional. Oh, sorry. I'm going to start raving in a minute.
But honestly, that for me, when I first heard it, I was like, "Oh my fucking
Yeah.
god,
I
this is different. This is class."
It still sounds class now, doesn't it?
Yeah, he did have you heard the violin version as well?
I don't think I have now.
Oh mate, that'll put you on that afterwards
I
as
love
well.
that. I love all that
Um,
classical stuff. that's
so
in it
he
as well.
opened with it at a gig years ago, I think, and then he ended up releasing it as a full version. So it's like a 2-minute breakdown or whatever. But I mean, it's good. It's really good. I think it's called the Violin Edit.
I'll look for that.
I got it on. I think I originally got it on like do you remember when we talk about buying CD singles? I got it on the the Maxi CD?
Aye. Well, the European one, man, like every mix.
Yeah, every mix ever. Yeah,
I
and
used to
I,
get them in Hong Kong, and it's like 15 mixes of everything on one disc, and you're like,
class.
why don't we get them back in England?
Because I'll tell you why it is, mate.
Licensing.
Right? Like be licensing, but if I'm kind of happy because the amount of tunes I've played over the years, were like, people, what's that? What mix is that? Never heard
You
that
can
one.
get them on Discogs, all the matches. See, that's,
That's where I get them from. Yeah.
You just got every mix, good quality of it.
Yeah.
Ripped up, and that's it. Sorted, stored away.
I like having little secret gems to play where it's like
Aye.
because there's a lot of what you would call B-sides, but they weren't exactly B-sides. They're on maxi CDs, and they were just experimental tracks that producers had made that never really got a proper release. And it's like it might not be a mix of another tune, but it's another tune that they never release, and it's like, and you play that, and it's like, what the fuck's I've never heard that tune by them, and like, yeah, you haven't.
The element of surprise, right? It's always good.
And last one, what's your karaoke song? I imagine you get up and do karaoke.
I do. I don't mind a bit of karaoke.
Yeah.
I can do Aerosmith. Don't want to miss a thing.
Oh, tune.
When it gets tiring after a couple of minutes.
Oh, well, I bet you're giving it full
Lungs
beans
are
as
knackered,
well.
yeah.
Yeah.
what else?
Armageddon, that isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 2 pina coladas. Aye.
Fucking hell.
That's totally different.
I know.
Different end of the spectrum.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think. I've already said what mine is. My karaoke song is Billy Joel.
Which one, Piano Man?
No, Billy Joel. Fucking. Oh, what the fuck's his name? Oh my god, my mind's gone blank. I'm gonna be my karaoke song on it. Uptown Girl.
What do you write on the slip? Joel.
No, I just put. I like that era. It's like fast pop music, isn't it? That's what I mean.
Yeah. I love Billy Joel's great. Like, I love Billy Joel. Like, I'll see him next time.
But I always liked. Oh, what's that tune now? Fuck! I can't believe mine's gone blank. I'm actually gonna have to finish it. Sorry to the audio listeners. Obviously, Uptown Girls weren't the one. It's not Piano Man. It's not even on his top 5 tunes as well. Oh my god.
What is it, the name of someone?
No, I've got 2 tunes that it is. I'm not even going to cut this out. I'm going to leave it all in. So there's Billy Joel, Uptown Girl. That's one of them. And what was the other tune? Oh my god, this is too maiden, you know. Sorry for the listeners. Scooter covered it, but I might have to go.
Scooter on YouTube.
2 seconds. I am actually just gonna. I feel really rude doing this, but I'm gonna have to because it's such a good Rebel Yell.
Billy Idol, isn't it?
Billy Idol.
Yeah.
Rebel Yell.
that's
For
a
me,
good tune, like.
I get that at karaoke.
Get everyone going.
If I had a couple of drinks, I'll put on a performance.
I like
for
Billy
that.
Idol like as well. It's great.
I'll put on a show for that because I've never actually see him sing it live, and I've never googled it or YouTubed it or whatever. So, but I imagine he's quite energetic in it. So when I do it, I'm proper right all over the spots.
Right.
Go for it. Do you know what I mean?
You've got to have and you get involved, like.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're gonna do some Flopper Bop. Did you do Flopper Bop before?
No.
In your last one?
No.
No. I can't remember how recent the
When was it
Flopper
we
Bop
did the last one?
was.
A year ago, is it? Won't be far off, maybe.
Won't be far off a year. It might be. No, was it this year? I don't know.
I can't remember.
I don't know. But anyways, but he's going to be a regular guest because I could fucking sit here and talk to you all day about it. So
karaoke set up.
I've got. I'll show you something. For those, no one will know this, but in my car, I've actually got a karaoke set up.
Yeah.
In my car, yeah. So when we go on long journeys,
Alright.
plugged into the system, get the karaoke on. I bought.
How did your missus find it?
Well, she hates it, but if I'm honest with you, it's entertaining when you pull up to the lights at someone and you've got the thing on full blast, right? No music on and just go, hey, and then people are freaked out that there's a fucking feel. It's on the microphone. I'll show you when we get outside.
You'll have some echo effects and all sorts.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, it's so fun. I know you shouldn't really play karaoke while you're driving, but you know, what can you do?
Yeah,
So this is Flopper Bop with Phil. Let's do this. Straight in, Flopper Bop, okay? Sons of the Loop to Loop era, far out.
Absolute bop.
Bop.
Still got the vinyl.
Yep, absolute bop.
Yeah.
One of the best.
Yeah.
It's just a great tune. I always think about remixing it, but then I think...
I like that. The other one, I know. What was it? The second one? The white cover, Sons of the Loop Club Jada. I don't know what it's called now. What's the title of it? Anyway, it's gone, but that was a great tune as well. The second one come out, I think it was the second one they released.
I don't know who it is behind that, you know. I've never actually looked into it. I can't remember who the
I think it's
producer is.
them lads from Essex, isn't it? It's behind that record shop in Essex.
Oh, I don't know.
I'll have to look into it anyway. I can't remember now.
Black Box Ride on Time.
Absolute bop as well.
Bop.
1988.
Yeah.
That was around the time where it was just turning into the rave scene.
Yeah. That vocal,
memories
it's
for that.
raw, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
Like-
Lee Holloway.
Yeah. It's just the whoa, that. When you hear that come in,
It
because
just catch you straight away, innit?
yeah,
Classic Italian.
you know what is coming in. It's just class. Stonebridge, Ride 'em High. I put 'em high, sorry.
Yeah, absolute bop.
Bop, yeah.
Reminds me
yeah.
of the Hong Kong days that in there.
Does it? It's funky and it's fun and I like it, yeah.
Head Candy era was great.
Yeah, class. High Tax Say, waiting for you.
I don't actually know that one.
I'm not going to sing it.
Is it that Lionel Richie one? No.
I was going to say I'll play it on the pod, but you know.
Get that karaoke set up.
I'm not singing it because like I've sang on the pod before and somebody fucking clipped me singing on the pod,
Right.
so I'm not doing it. Do you know what I mean?
Sort of clipped it and spread it.
No, just put a clip up and just like, and it just got out of context. It looks fucking daft. This is it. I won't try. Okay. Sorry for the audio listeners. Why the fuck's this not working?
Oh yeah, that's what. Bit of a flop that.
Do you think it's a flop? Yeah.
Yeah, a bit cheesy and chatty for me. That like.
I like it. I don't know why. I think.
Is it Lionel Richie?
No,
No, Leo Sayer.
No, that's, is it Leo Sayer?
I think so.
Because he got
One of the two.
He
I'm
got
sure
put
it's
into,
Leo
he got put into the charts again, didn't he, back in the mid 2000s with Thunder in My Heart.
Is that Freemasons there?
That is High Tack.
I did.
It's I'm sure, if I'm not mistaken, is it not Kuan from Clubhead's High Tack?
Could be.
I don't know. I should have more of these facts, but I simply don't. Yeah. And the last one for today: Bob Marley and the Wailers versus Funk's Deluxe. Sun is Shining.
Bit of a flop, I would say that for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
mean, I've played it a couple of times, but Nah, it doesn't really get you going.
Yeah.
And they're nice for the charts, poppy song, summer song,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't say it's a dance floor filler.
No, I was going to say that it's quite the opposite. If anything, I think it loses energy of the crowd.
It
For
wouldn't be
me,
on my top playlist anyways.
I think it's a bop. I'd put it out there as a bop, right? If I've got it on in the car, I will turn it up, and that for me, that's good enough to say a bop. And like, and you sing along to it.
I like
it's
his
got a bit
voice
of
on
a
it,
groove.
like, I do like his voice on it, but it's,
Yeah.
I don't think the tune goes anyway.
But when it's on in the club, it hasn't got energy to it. It's
no,
not. It's more,
yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Doesn't pick up and go off, does it?
Yeah. So I'll ask you a couple more questions. That's all for Flutter Bob today, by the way. I've got a couple more questions for you. Is there anything that you want to achieve before you sort of hang up the headphones?
Not really, no. I mean, I've never really wanted to achieve anything in.
Just have a good time, is that
Yeah,
what it
that's
was?
what it's always been about for me. I've never wanted to go anywhere with it. I've just enjoyed doing it along the way, and just
Yeah.
accidentally fell into like going abroad and stuff, really.
Yeah.
But just took the chances I had and enjoyed every one of them, really. But yeah, nothing really. I've never really wanted to achieve a lot in it.
Right.
I'm thankful for what I've achieved so far, which isn't much, but it's.
No, it's been a journey though, isn't it? Like,
Oh
fucking
yeah,
hell.
I mean,
A lot of people would
been a
love
lot
to
of
have
good-
done
a lot of
your
good times.
DJing career. Do you know what I mean? I think a lot of people would like the travel aspect of like going to Hong
it's
Kong.
outside the DJing abroad as well. The life outside of the DJing when you're there, and the culture and stuff like that.
That's it, innit? Yeah.
It's just a learning curve, and travel is knowledge, isn't it?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. It broadens your mind a bit as well.
Yeah.
I've found that when you go places and you see what's going on in like what's sort of kicking around in other places, you're like, you know what? Actually, the because to me, I always think of an idea for a tune, for instance, and I'm there and I'm like, oh, I would love to do that tune, but I don't think it would work. And then do you know when you go somewhere and you're in a club somewhere else, you think, you know
It
what?
might work here.
Yeah, it would work here, and it broadens your imagination a bit.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, it
travel.
does, definitely.
When you go places and like,
And like different countries, even around Asia, different countries, they're all different cultures. And,
yeah,
like,
like
well, without DJing, I'd never have been able to go to them. I wouldn't have went to them. You know what I mean?
like a lot, like Germany is a whole different scene. The Netherlands is a complete different scene
They're
again.
still listening to David Hasselhoff, aren't they, in Germany? He's like,
He's a national hero, isn't he?
What's that about? I mean, don't get me wrong, like David Hasselhoff.
Yeah,
Well, you know, to be #1 seller in Germany or something like that.
I think he was at one point, but it's unbelievable.
I know. Go the Hoff.
The Hoffman, like he's going to have to get a random picture of him just to cover up that fucking bollocks face.
A
There.
red flashing light across the top.
Yeah, class. But yeah, I was going to ask you. Obviously, I was talking to John, who I produce Manic with. And we were having a crack the other day about Hong Kong, and we got into the thing. Obviously, you growing up when you did, were you a Jean-Claude fan? We got-
Jean-Claude Van Damme. I in the day, kickboxing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you watch him now, it's a proper cheese fest, like, isn't it?
Oh,
It's
I like it.
Same with Top Gun when you watch that back. When
It's maybe nostalgia though, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, I know, yeah. But watching back in the day, yeah, of course, it was brilliant, like.
I seen someone the other day. We're talking about movies and stuff like that. I'll get into that in a minute, but for me, when I watch Double Impact, right? Because obviously we
Aye.
talk about it's the
With Chad.
yeah with Chad, yeah. It's the most.
Got another case of cognac in the car.
But that to me that it's raw Hong Kong, that isn't it? That's what
yeah.
the streets genuinely look like
That's why I like watching it, because, yeah.
for what Hong Kong's actually
And
like.
what is it? There's one of the Bruce Lee ones as well, isn't there? It's a film in Hong Kong. I can't remember which one it is, but when you watch that, that's like proper old Hong Kong. You haven't
Yeah.
seen it, watch that. That's good. Filmed on the streets of Hong Kong.
Tell you what's on Double Impact as well. When they land on the plane, did you see
Aye.
on the old airport
All
where they
kinds
go
of-
through the thing? Yeah.
I did that
Class.
twice. That was brilliant. Like, I was gutted when the new one opened. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a lot easier than new one, like.
Yeah, it's a lot more. I think a lot more accessible for
Yeah,
everyone
but
as
it's
well.
part of Hong Kong, the old one, though. Just coming in like sideways.
Yeah, you go in on a tilt or an angle. Yeah, but yeah, like we're talking about Jean-Claude Van Damme films. Obviously, with you living in Hong Kong, I thought.
Well, he used to go in. He went into that club where he used to work a couple of times. The Lap Dancing Bar, he used to go there.
Yeah.
He was in Hong Kong, aye.
See, because he's got a big. A lot of people in Hong Kong don't know who he is, but he's got a big passion for Hong Kong. Because like when he go, like, well, kickboxers there, I'm sure, isn't it?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
blood
Bloodsport.
sports in Hong Kong as well. Obviously, Double Impact and stuff. He's got he likes
Yeah,
the culture.
I think
and
he had
that.
a house up at the peak at one point. I don't know if he still has
Someone's
it.
doing all right.
Well, yeah.
Obviously, the price of them houses.
No, aye.
To buy it,
only film stars could afford it, can't they?
yeah,
Higher up you go. The higher
Well,
up
to
the
buy
price
a
goes.
normal house in Hong Kong, like you have to get in the
A flat
it's all
basic
flats,
price?
yeah. But to buy an actual house, but you have to go to like new territories and stuff. Where there's houses, you're looking at in English pounds a minimum of about 4 mil now,
Oh, that's
right?
crazy, you know.
So imagine up what it's like on the peak,
Man.
tens of millions of pounds just for a basic, simple,
Yeah.
like two up, two down house.
Well, big money for the
Yeah,
houses.
we're talking about classic films that haven't aged well, though. When you were saying about it, seen someone post it the other day, and I'm in agreement, but I've still got that nostalgia for it, and it's a shame really because it's not that good, and they need to make an update. It's in Human Traffic,
Aye.
right?
Yeah,
Try and watch it now.
Dated.
Oh,
I've thought about watching it now because it's on Netflix.
it's on Netflix.
Isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah.
I know. I thought about it, but I thought it might ruin
No, I
how
will.
I felt about it before because
Yeah.
we used to watch that in Hong Kong when it came out as well. And when I had a hangover, I used to watch that to get me in the mood to go to work every night. And I
It's
put
a
it on. Do you know the
cycle,
club
yeah.
scene where Sister F's on?
Yeah.
I used to watch that bit and it just used to spring us back to life again.
The thing is, with it, right? You
But it'd be, what, 20 years ago that now?
99, I think it came out, or maybe 2000.
It's getting older, like, isn't it now?
The thing is, it's cheesy and stuff for what it is, but at the
That's
time
how it
it was
was.
represented of
Yeah,
that.
that's how it was
that
at the time,
person. Yeah, I would absolutely love, right? And I know it's probably not doable because obviously no one's got the budget for it. But I know a few people who's videography within the industry.
But you're going to do Human Traffic, wide version.
No, do just a modern day, even if it was just amateurly done. I don't want to be in it or out, but I would love to write a script for it. Like, do you know what I mean?
Just do it.
Like,
You know enough people that
the modern day night out. Like, do you know what I mean? Or weekend out, obviously. And I think that there's definitely a market for it. The amount of people who live that life now.
would be like the updated Hitman and Her.
Yeah, exactly. I'd love to do that.
There you go.
I'd love to do that, but a lot of people nowadays wouldn't like it, because
The cameras,
the
phones
culture,
and
yeah, the
work and
culture's a
stuff
bit
like that.
different.
Yeah.
Very, very different. You couldn't go into some places. Put it that
People
way.
would say stop filming. I don't want you filming.
Yeah. There'll be too many. There's too many. There's too many opinions for it
Well,
now.
just do it and put a note on the door. I don't know about the law be about it. Like, put a note on the door saying you're going to be filming here.
Yeah.
Keep your trousers on.
I'll get in touch with Michaela Strachan and she can come on and do it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That'd be a good idea. I think
there's a market for it, definitely.
they
Yeah.
used to do that thing where they go around. There's that not working, isn't there? A club scene.
What was that called? I know what you're on about.
By
Club Life. No.
Something like that.
They've started uploading.
It's still on YouTube, isn't it?
YouTube. Well, no, they've re-uploaded. So I got to watch like the.
Oh, mates from work's on it. Johnny Dolan. If you're watching Johnny. Back in the day.
Oh, what is the fucking thing called? Me and Simon talked about it when Simon was on. Because
I think I ran working in the Fusion and all that.
Yeah. They went round a few spots.
I can't remember what it was called now. I don't know.
I will find it.
Well, you could do
Club of Vision.
Yeah.
Club of Vision TV.
You could do an updated version of that.
You could, but then again, obviously the
You'd have to
The
do like the
backlog.
licensing laws and stuff like that.
yeah. I would love to do
copyright.
something like that though. Just interview them.
Just do it illegally. You never heard that.
I could put it out on Patreon, and then you'd have to go sign up with
Yeah.
Patreon. But yeah, we're gonna sort of sign off today, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on.
Always is, mate. Yeah, anytime.
We're talking off pod. Gonna get him back on to do a bit of a group one as well. We haven't got anything signed, sealed, and delivered just yet, but we're looking. This is still 95% finished. Obviously, the basis of everything he has done. It's just.
We never thought about doing maybe a live DJ set and getting a guest on for an hour's set.
Well, that's also in the pipeline.
that, yeah.
So that's why this.
Give you a
Obviously,
little break.
it's pointless if you're audio listener or the camera's there, but this bit's going to be empty along here, so I can move the sofa, set the decks up here, and you can have a bit of a live stream or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think it would be good. And then obviously the speakers are here, and it'd be decent. I plan on doing that. It's just finding. I need to come up with a plan first.
Yeah.
I think because if I'm going to do it, you're going to do it properly, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? Shout out to.
It's like Brad Milburn's Boiler Room.
Well, I was going to say the label I've just signed to, that BNCY, they're doing a thing called Bouncy Box, and it's the guy who runs it. He's actually a professional club videographer. Shout Mikey Davis, and he does. They've set up like a booth. Go in. play. I'll show you some videos afterwards, but they've done it to a whole new level. If I was to do it, I couldn't do it on their level. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah, well, you
it's
just start off however you do it, innit?
oh yeah, of
You
course.
develop it from there.
But it is a good idea nonetheless. But as I say, I think that will be a good thing as well. Get the lights set up, point over. Someone else messaged
Friday
me
night,
the other day,
5,000 crowd outside.
exactly. You've got the audience, so why not use it? Eh? I think a
This will
lot.
be the next new nightclub here.
Hey, imagine it. Do you know what I was saying about this on the last episode? I would like to have something obviously bigger than this, but like a little small intimate 40 people venue, 40, 50 people, just a square room. Like it's so basic in my head.
Yeah, just decks
in the
with
corner.
some lights.
Yeah, and that's it.
Yeah.
And just have like, and then sell tickets, sell
No-
40,
no
50
VIP
tickets.
areas.
No VIP areas, 40, 50 tickets, but the rule is when you buy a ticket, it needs to be somebody who's genuinely passionate about music and
Yeah.
that. Like, I don't know how I would filter that. I don't know
No
how
phones.
Yeah, just come in, enjoy
the music.
yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
There's not enough of that going on at the minute, is there?
no, and do you know, like, and it will make it such a highly desired club, but when tickets come out the next time, they'll be snapped up straight away, and do you know what I mean? And then that's how it is. 40, 50 people in a small room, decks on, fucking atmosphere, vibe all night, and if you have it as a private party, you can go for as long as you want. And I'm not just going to do hard music if I was to do it. I would start off, get you, play a bit of disco.
Doesn't matter, I'd
and
just go through
build
all
it
your
up.
genres there, just for
Fun.
music people.
Yeah.
People who like music, yeah, it'd be great.
Yeah. And then by the end of the night, it's going to be fucking gabbering it right out.
150, 200 BPM.
Yeah, exactly.
See who's left.
See
Who
who's
can
left at
keep
the
up.
end. Yeah, but I have thought about this because I'm going to give a few of my secrets away. But in the future, I'm going to be starting doing a couple of events. Maybe it's time to refresh or what I don't know. I think it might be this, and do something like that. Just get a venue. 40 people, bang, have a good time. Make it into like a boiler room thing. Have the cameras
Well,
and
that's
that
what I like
set
about
up.
ballroom, is like everyone's just right there.
Yeah, that's
No,
it.
you're not set. Oh, there it
Again,
goes again.
yeah, get excited.
Oh no, sorry, speaking again.
But yeah, that's
You're
the
right in
plan.
the crowd, right in amongst you, the atmosphere is there, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's electric right there.
You've caught it right there. But the other thing is, I have been actively looking. I've talked about it on the podcast before. I'm looking for a venue to rent or hire or buy even.
Pretty Jason, Joe Bananas, are you looking around here or not?
No, yeah. Well, I went to inquire about obviously Gallagher's, but it's too big for what I want. It's. I want an intimate venue. I don't want to be there playing to 100 people in a 300 people capacity venue. I want something where there's demand. I'm not going to open it every weekend. So this is my plan. I'm going to tell you all anyways. I want to have a comedy night on a Thursday, like once a month, right? Just put chairs out.
Nobody does that, like, does
40 people, 40, 50 people in a venue, stand-up comedy. It's good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that. I want in the entertainment aspect of it all there. I want to do like say I enjoy I love comedy, so I like that.
There's not much of it around here, like, to be fair.
Fucking quiz night,
Yeah, there's
£3
always
entry
good,
or something like that. Winner gets the pot.
Yeah.
And put fucking food and that. I'm as much as I love DJing and stuff like that. I love organising the events. I love camaraderie. That's why I got into the music. I went to the wrestling last weekend in Wembley, and honestly, 80,000 people. It was fucking the camaraderie that's what it's about for me. So if you can get a comedy night where everyone's in tuned and fucking it's class. Get a boiler room thing in this. It's finding the right area. Make it a private function. It's not an open bar or out like that. It's just a private function that follows the law. And just do it like in that regard. I've seen units for sale. Went to look at a unit, and for what they're wanting, and what we're allowed to put on in there, you can't do it. So I inquired about one.
A lot of red tape to go through.
Yeah, well, I went to see one.
Just do it underground, how it used to be.
I know, but it's not
Telephone
worth
boxes
the.
and everywhere.
It's not worth the thing, is it?
No. Be good though to go back to them trees, but you'd never be the same, would you?
Well, when I inquired about this one, they were like, sort of, I was telling them what the plan was, and they're like, no, strictly storage. You can't even open a shop if you wanted to. If you wanted to have like a drop sale or something like that, can't even do that. It's just got to be solely used for for
Well,
storage.
they doing like illegal raves up at Logan last year or something. Didn't they have a couple of
Yeah, there
raves up
was.
there? But the police closed them down, didn't they?
Yeah. See, I like the illegal rave thing, but if I was to do something, I
You
would.
only get an hour before the police would come on and
Yeah.
shut you out, like.
I said to on the last podcast to Chris, I said what I'd like to do is have a small little venue, right, and then have a beer garden for the summer. Get the decks out, summer party, and then at night back in the venue. There you go, you're away.
Yeah, that's
But-
it, a nice terrace beer garden. Be nice. But there's not enough afternoon stuff, I don't think, around here.
Afternoon events are the way forward.
I know, I think that, but there's nothing, especially throughout summer.
We can get some cider. We'll have to get some cider. The thing is, I'd love to go, even if it was in a nightclub. It doesn't need to be necessarily outside. If it's a bad day, right, everyone in a nightclub, right, through the day, and you can get home and have a decent fucking night's sleep at night. And that's the way forward.
I hear you there, like, I
Definitely.
prefer the afternoon, like, you can still go all night, more recovery time, in bed by 9 o'clock. Great.
See, what I'd like is, do you know when we're also talking about this, when the World Cup was on last year, I'm not a massive follower of it all, but like people, as I say, it's a camaraderie thing for me.
Aye.
Once I see people getting together, I love
It's a
it.
nice atmosphere, isn't it? when
Yeah.
people, like,
So Saturday afternoon football on, right, in the background or in another room if you want it on. For those who watch it, and then a rave in just like it doesn't even necessarily be a rave, just tunes on.
tunes on, I
yeah,
know, yeah.
yeah.
sometimes they can be over-organised, a lot of things, can't they? But you expect too much from them. But
That's why I said to you if I was to
just
do
keep
it,
it simple and just go back to basics. You know, decks, tunes, couple of lights.
make
more do you
it
need?
make it about you and your mates, not about trying to make a
Get
imprint
some
on the industry.
Get some Instagram pics.
Yeah, don't make it about that. Just make it just enjoy yourself and you and your mates. Just like it's a kitchen party. Like you got the
but
deck
that's
set
thing,
up.
a lot of people can't enjoy themselves now because they're worried about the camera phones being videoed.
Yeah,
You can't let their hair down, you know what I mean? So
exactly.
it kind of spoils the fun with phones nowadays. I know they're a great gadget, don't get me wrong, but
Yeah,
for that side of things, I think it lets everybody, makes everybody uptight and a bit up.
it's a bit. Yeah, you can tell people
it
are
can
on edge
affect
with
your
you.
jobs and stuff like that now, and it's just gone too far, really. I think it's took all the fun away.
Yeah,
So
it's
no phones allowed. I'm all for that.
yeah. If we were to do something like that, it would be. I'd have to put up a policy, and do you know something? It would put people off coming because they can't Instagram it or whatever. That's fair enough.
They'd probably enjoy it better
But-
when they were there.
But yeah, but the ones
I know,
that it
I
would
would-
attract, the ones it would attract, would be the clientele I'm looking for. Do you know what I mean? It'd be the ones who just want to go out and have a good night.
They don't want to be filmed.
Yeah, but like if you look back at it now, say right, we'll say at the park, right, when you're playing at the park. Imagine how different the atmosphere would have been if everyone's with the phones and that. Like I know it's a whole different generation, and there is times when I do like seeing the phones out. Like I was playing in.
I mean, it's good that they got footage of it back then. There's not much of it about, like, is there? But
Yeah,
it's nice to look back on, but there's just footage now of everything everywhere, isn't it?
yeah, from all different
Nah,
angles.
you don't even know who's videoing what.
Yeah, it was good that I remember I was playing in Electric Soup, a year or so ago, whatever, maybe even longer, I don't know. In Workington, and the whole crowd's like barriered off at the front. It was rammed like, and all I seen was lights on phones, and I thought, wow, that looks fucking amazing. Like they're all just videoing, but like it's a different atmosphere. It's not necessarily bad. It's just different. It's just how kids of today are.
Yeah, I know.
Just
It's all
different.
about that, isn't it? That's their
Different.
culture.
But it was a good atmosphere to just look and you just see lights and it's
Aye.
just fucking class. But at the same time, as I say, sometimes you have got to just go back to basics, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll just sort of sign off today. Did we do your last meal, your electric chair meal last time?
Am I going to jail?
Yeah.
Right.
No. We did do that
Yeah,
last year?
we did, yeah.
Excellent.
Typo, didn't I?
Oh yeah,
I
of
think-
course. I always forget because I'm get so obsessive with food. Yeah, we'll sign off. We'll do something a bit different this time. Never done this one before. Right here, right now. What do you fancy having to eat?
I don't know, a nice cheeseburger. I remember doing some karaoke.
Cheeseburger.
Get this party started.
Class.
I like a cheeseburger, like.
I've been on a bit of a diet recently, so I've just treated myself then to bacon and sausage sandwich from Greg's, and do you know something? I
Can't go wrong with
absolutely
that.
fucking loved it. It's, do you know when you haven't had it in ages, it's like, yes.
Aye.
Making a roast dinner tonight as well.
Aye.
Big treat there for me.
Well, why not, mate? Why not?
Why not? I just want to say thanks for putting on, mate. It's been absolutely
No problem, anytime.
class. If you've enjoyed today's conversation, which, hey, if you've enjoyed it, fucking class, because I've loved it. Yeah, just you can find us On YouTube, it's time to refresh. Instagram, it's time to refresh. Facebook, it's time to refresh. You know how it is. But if you've really enjoyed it and you want to get some bonus episodes and some bonus content, then you can sign up to our Patreon at patreon.com/it's time to refresh. We get all the early news and announcements, Patreon exclusive stuff behind the paywall that's going to be too spicy to be on public episodes. You know what I mean? People have got reputations, like you say. We're sitting here recording. People have got jobs. But yeah,
My reputation went a long time ago.
but yeah, you can sign up and for £3 a month, it supports this podcast. It keeps it going, funds what we're doing. I mean, as you say, you see the upgrades and everything. Like I say this all the time, you see the upgrades and everything we do. It's partially funded by the listeners. Do you know what I mean? And I'm very grateful for that. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this, then share it with your mates, because that's how we get much bigger. Sharing, I put sponsored ads and stuff like that out to try and get more new listeners. But sharing it and putting in your WhatsApp groups with your mates who you think, do you know what? I think they might like this. I think they'd enjoy this crack. That's our biggest promotional tool, because you're sending it to somebody, right to the person you think is going to like it. It goes right to their ears, and it's like, if they're going to like it, they're going to love it, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? Do you know where I'm coming from? And yeah, so as I said, thanks for listening, and I'll see you again soon. Nice one.